Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another OWTV interview. My name is Apostle. I'll be your host for today. And joining me, we have one of the greatest up-and-coming tanks in the North American region. It's Baz from the DhillDucks. Baz, how are you doing today?
Great. How about you?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, before I jump into the DhillDucks results from week one, first thing first, I want to ask you a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you're a bit of a newer player compared to like some of the veterans that we have in OWCS, right? So you're someone who's come up kind of through the new path to pro system. How's that experience been for you?
I wouldn't define myself as a new player. Actually, I don't think a lot of people know this about me because I role swapped and I never got very good before, but a lot of like the really big veterans in OWCS nowadays are actual teammates of mine, like Zarya, Clear, Rupal. All at some point I've played with pretty closely, mostly back when I was a main sport player in Overwatch 1.
Okay.
I was never as good as them. I just, kind of just hopped on tank in Overwatch 2 and been having fun with that and had some recent success. So I'm older than most people would know, but I wouldn't be known for how I played back in the day.
Gotcha. Do you feel like you've kind of finally proven yourself compared to some of those older guys? Or more known names, I guess I should say.
I don't know. I wouldn't say I've proven myself. I wouldn't say I'm trying to prove myself.
Okay.
I mean, I guess sort of. I'm able to play at a pretty high level without trying very hard. So I guess that's true.
Fair enough. So, all right, now looking at the DhillDucks results, obviously week one under your belt. And, for a team like the Ducks, it's known that, you guys don't take things quite as seriously. You're more there to like have fun, show off a little bit. But you guys put up a pretty good fight there against Extinction.
I feel like mechanically all of our players are on that level, if not like beyond it. But I think, when it comes to OWCS, a team like Extinction, a team like Sakura, the amount of prep they put in, we're never gonna be able to compete on match day without like something like tremendously unfortunate for the other team happening. And that almost happened on like Atlas. We almost like won Atlas, and then I fat fingered my ult and C9 to the third point.
Yeah,
and then got reverse swept. That was kind of tragic, but yeah, I think that's the like what we realize is no matter how mechanically good we can play, an OWCS team on game day, they have so much prep, so much strategy planned. All their bans are like meticulous. They have so much ready for their game that you're hopeless unless you're like putting in at least half the time they are, no matter how good mechanically you are.
Right. So I'm kind of taking a look and diving more into the match itself now. Obviously, it looks like stage 3, we're getting ourselves a double flex DPS meta. And DhillDucks, you guys have never been known as like a meta team. You guys have always been pulling out the crazy comps, right? But this time around, we did see you guys kind of lean into it, even putting in Karmez for the first time. So what was it like kind of playing the meta and especially having Karmez in the starting roster?
I don't know if we knew we were going to play with Karmez until like last minute. I think we went into the stage like planning on playing with Juice a lot, but then this double flex DPS meta hit, and we figured it'd make more sense to play with Karmez, at least for that match. I don't know. I feel like double flex DPS is probably favorable for us because I think playing around a hit scan, you have to be a lot smarter and like play the game much more disciplined. Than with double flex DPS, you can just like go Moira and just do dumb shit, and it might work. Which is kind of what we were doing. we just played this dumbass like Moira comp in our warm up against the Masters team, and we like spawn camped them on Atlas and like 500 of them on the flashpoint. And we were like, let's just play this in our match. And then I ended up on Doomfist. I don't know how. But that's kind of like, I think it's favorable for us because the double flex DPS, I think doing like, for lack of a better word, like dumb shit, it's good.
Yeah.
It works well with that compared to like playing with a hit scan where it's like, oh, I left my hit scans LOS and we lost the fight because of it. It's like, you don't need to practice that.
Right. Now, breaking down the maps individually here, map 1, we saw that DhillDucks banned Freja. Was that like a specific kind of response to Vision being kind of this known hit scan player for Extinction now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just like Freja is the only playable hit scan in the game. They have the hit scan guy. Let's just ban it and make them play double flex.
Gotcha. And then for your support line, we also saw you guys pull out the Wuyang, which was a bit interesting because DhillDucks, you guys have always been known as like the Lucio team, right? We know that Redx loves playing Lucio. So is Wuyang something that you guys have been experimenting a lot with, or was that kind of just a spur of the moment thing?
I think Red X has played like 2 ranked games on Wuyang. And
Okay.
we just, Lucio was banned, and we hadn't seen anybody play anything other than Wuyang or Lucio. So we were like, we don't know what else we're supposed to play, so we're just going to stick you on Wuyang. And he did, and we lost. Yeah, there wasn't much more thought there.
Gotcha. Now, for you yourself, we actually saw you playing the D.Va, and you've got a whole slew of tanks under your belt at this point, which we'll get into a bit more as we go on. But how was it to play the D.Va kind of going into this double flex DPS?
I don't know. I think it's bad. I don't think I should have played it. I think I kind of had the wrong idea there. Maybe ball's a little better, just because you can be more flexible. D.Va kind of, it feels like you fly on something and then you're just out of the fight when there's every character has a movement ability that goes across the map.
Right. Now, you actually mentioned earlier that you did used to be a support player, right? And that's something I actually wasn't even aware of myself. So as you've been kind of making yourself known as a tank player here in 2025, how would you kind of describe yourself? Are you more of like off tank, more main tank, or are you one of those like Overwatch 2 new gens who just kind of flexes to everything?
I mean, I was a main tank player coming out of Overwatch 1. I didn't play competitively, but I like queued like Winston and Reinhardt and ranked and like fucked around at 2 a.m.
Okay.
But I think off tanks are easy. Off tanks and Overwatch 2 tanks are just easy to play. Like I think you don't see people learning Winston or Ball. Like Ball, I guess all the perks made them really easy, so that's a little different. But I think main tanks are something that are a lot harder to learn. So I think having that kind of skill set from Overwatch 1, from my 2 a.m. Ranked sessions,
Yeah.
has kind of helped me nicely. Because learn it like Zarya. Like Zarya's a 2-year-old can play that character. Same thing for D.Va. Like they're not hard characters to play. It's like, can you aim a little bit? Sure. Like yeah, you're good at D.Va. You're good at Zarya. That's it.
Gotcha.
So I think that's probably why I have such kind of a wide hero pool.
Okay.
And I think other main tank players agree with that. I think that's
right. Now, you just mentioned Zarya quite a bit there. And on map 2, we actually saw you guys use a Zarya Ban. Was that like your call? Is that a personal preference? You don't like playing Zarya, or you don't like playing into Zarya?
Yeah, I think we just don't like playing into Zarya, and we wanted to play like Queen. So we just banned it. And we'd heard through the grapevine that they like playing Zarya, Ball, and Monkey. And we were like, if they play Ball or Monkey on Atlas, they're just trolling the game. So we banned Zarya, they rolled out Ball, and we like 200'd them until they swapped. Because I don't know, it just didn't seem like a very strong pick for them.
Yeah. Now, you did initially, so you mentioned that like you were hoping to play the Junker Queen, but obviously, like you kind of alluded to earlier, that's not what we end up seeing. Because in order to get, I assume it was just a touch. You swapped Doom just a touch point in overtime there, right? But you ended up finding like 3 or 4 picks. You end up flipping the fight, you capture, and from there you kind of stick with it for the rest of the map. So what was kind of going on in the team there? What was like the reaction to you just flipping the fight with Doom?
I suck at Doom. It's like one of my worst characters.
You could have fooled me. You could have fooled me.
It's kind of funny because like I remember like watching back some of the VODs, like Commander X saying like, I think it was Commander X or Hunter. They're like, this guy might have the case against Hawk for like best Doom, and I'm terrible at Doom. I have like a 40% win rate and ranked on that character, and I don't know. Like I feel like I came back on the recontest. I just like killed 4, and then killed 2 the next fight, and then got like 2 wonder picks in the 2 next fights, and then it's like I was like really feeling myself, and then I C9 to the 3rd point, and then I did absolutely nothing for the rest of the map, and like. Completely trolled. I really should have just gone back Queen as soon as I had the chance, or like gone Hazard me or something like that. Yeah, it was a little tragic me staying there.
In all fairness to you, the Doomfist was good enough to actually force Hitori to counter swap. She did start on Ball, but ended up playing the Hazard, and the Hazard did seem to give you a fair bit of trouble with the walls and stuff. But did you kind of like feel like you were getting targeted there eventually?
I don't know. I think Doom. Okay, this is like my Cardi fan theory.
Okay.
Like Doom and Ball are like really annoying characters to play tank against, because they can just go skill check your supports before you get to play the game, and if your supports fail to skill check, the game's over. Like you can just get I can just go punch Scuffed into a wall and win the fight before Hitori gets the chance to click a button, right? And so like I think when I play against a Doom player in ranked or like a Ball player in ranked, because Ball kind of does the same thing, it can be really frustrating. And sometimes you just have to go tank. They can do the same thing back, and like Hazard can kind of do that. So I think that was logic there. I don't think it necessarily was like a direct counter swap. More of just like an adjustment to like what needed to be done in the game, which was like be able to go first and like jump in. And like Ball can do that, but it's hard because you need somebody to go with you, or else you can't kill anything, especially the Lucio Moira.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, the Moira Lucio. I was wondering, could you kind of tell us a bit more about like this comp and how it works for you as a tank player, right? Because obviously, like in ranked, you see your support lock Moira, and usually you're going to be shaking your head. But for the Ducks, you've kind of made it a bit of an iconic look for you guys. So how's that for you?
To be honest, we played Moira in the warm up because we were preparing for Curie ban on our map pick. Because people really like to play like Dan Lucio against us and Dan Kiriko against us because we always play Curie Lucio. And so we played Moira in our warm up with like that queen comp that really worked for no reason. And then Curie wasn't banned in the game, and then we played it anyway. And we probably should have just played Curie. I don't know. I think that was probably a mistake, but Moira played a lot. It
did seem to give King a fair bit of trouble. We saw him go like venture, then back to Genji. Like you threw him off, if nothing else.
She's definitely an underrated hero. I think you lose as soon as the other team's Tracer can like one clip the side of a barn, but there wasn't a Tracer really in the map. I think they're playing like Reaper Venture for most of it. No, they played a bit of Tracer, but yeah, I don't know. I think Moira's just a skill check. Like I think good teams will always beat it, but if like for some reason the part of like their team that's supposed to punish it is not doing their job, then all of a sudden it becomes really strong.
Right.
And we're pretty good at playing stuff like that. Kind
Makes
of like
sense.
skill check weird comps that aren't optimal.
Yeah. On map 3, we kind of saw what your two teams are known for reverse a little bit. So you guys pull out a more traditional, you were on the Hazard, and then we had the Tracer Genji Curie Lucio come out, right? So very traditional dive. First thing I want to ask is how was it to kind of, because this was the first actually straight mirror that we saw between you and Hitori, both on Hazard. So how is it playing into that?
I don't know. I think they were playing like Hanzo, and like Vision was like one shot in every fight.
That was the interesting part. They went for the off meta look with the Hanzo.
Yeah, and so we were like trying to find a way to like go in first, but they were just like trying to bait my engage all the time, and we were like trying to like balance like winning the side fight and then going on the Hanzo and like not inting, but we're really bad at like disciplined play, and I think when they play something like that, you kind of have to think. And we weren't thinking very well. So like a lot of our King's Row is not very good either. I don't know why. I think we picked that map because we didn't want to play like Ball or Monkey because that's like their comfort zone. But yeah, it ended up being a really bad matchup for us because it really did complicate the game for us. And we had to actually calm a lot and think a lot, and never bodes well.
You guys find it more comfortable. You can just kind of run it down full send.
Yeah, when we can just play it like ranked and like try to like skill check people. That's when we do best.
Gotcha. Now you mentioned that like Ball and Winston are a bit of a comfort comp for them. Would you say that it's a comfort comp for you as well, or do you prefer to kind of lean into like the more, I guess we should say the less divey comps where you can enable like the Lucio rush?
I think we like our dive comps. Like we've been really good with Winston comps and Ball comps in the past. But I think against a team that has been, I think it's like in like a Masters League relegation tournament, like we're going to play Winston and Ball all the time. We're just going to take a beer with any team on that, except like, Dreamland if they're playing Apella. But in OWCS, and you're playing against teams that have like, they're playing at a higher level. They've prepped the like shit out of those comps, and like they've perfected them. They've played the mirror a ton. They've practiced them a ton. You're not going to beat them in the mirror. Like we don't know what we're doing. So like if we mirror them on Winston comp or Ball comp, they're just going to play it better. So we have to find something stupid that they haven't played against, they haven't practiced against, that maybe will work for us. And it kind of gets tricky on some of those maps. Like, on Ilios, you can't. D.Va was like kind of an attempt at that, right? But it didn't work out. So I think we're comfortable in those comps. Like we like playing them, but I think in the matchup, it's not something we want to mirror.
Right. Now, kind of again, more talking about like what is comfortable for the Ducks, what you guys like to do. We're still early in the stage right now, right? And I think the meta is still kind of being developed a little bit. We're seeing a lot of dive. We're seeing Zarya being tested out in different ways. So do you enjoy when the meta's in a state of flux like this, or do you kind of prefer the later, what we'll likely see later in the stage once things have kind of settled, and then that's when you can kind of lean more into breaking the meta?
I definitely like when it's kind of up in the air like this, because I think I mean, not that it's more fun. I think historically in Overwatch, I've always liked when metas become really defined and solved. Like Goats is really fun. I really liked Goats. But I think in terms of our team, our results are going to be better when nobody knows what's good, and like we can find like corny comps that nobody's practiced against that'll work like that. So yeah, I like how it is right now. I think nobody knows what to expect, and when nobody knows what to expect, they don't really know what to play either, and that means it's harder to practice and perfect what you do.
Gotcha. Now, when it comes to like the more experimental comps that DhillDucks do play, how much of a say do you get in that? Or are you just kind of listening for instructions? They tell you to pick a tank and you say which one? Or are you kind of the one who's calling the shots and being like, nah, listen, I want to run it down on junk. Well, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think most of our like team comp decisions come down to like what hero Reyzr feels like playing every day. Like sometimes you like I don't know, last stage, like there was like a couple of weeks in a row where he was like, I just want to play Reaper. And so we were like, okay, what's like some dumb shit we can do with Reaper? And so I went Hazard and we kept TPing him on my walls and like trying to do like funny flanks.
So he was a bit ahead of his time with the Reaper call.
Yeah. I think like he always like sends people, whenever he wants to play Reaper, he sends them like some song. I can't remember what it is, but it's like Fear the Grim Reaper, some like Spotify link. He tweeted at Extinction before our last. DhillDucks Twitter account tweeted at Extinction before our last game, and then he didn't play Reaper at all. It was Karmez.
Yeah. Okay. So he sends you songs. Is Reyzr the guy who's listening to music in the middle of like actual tournament matches?
That's kind of all of us sometimes. Not no OWCS. We're kind of trying in these games, but
okay.
Yeah, we've had tournaments in the past. We've had to listen along, pulled up. Yeah.
Got
I think our comp decisions, it really does come down to like whatever Reyzr feels like playing that day. Sometimes he's like, I just want to tracer mirror everyone, and
gotcha.
We play standard stuff.
Fair enough. All right, now looking kind of forward here, your next match will be against Nightmare. Now, obviously, Nightmare is coming off a bit of a rough start. So, do you guys have any specific plans going into that match, or are you just gonna stick with what you know?
I don't know. I think we're gonna be having some fun.
Okay.
I wouldn't expect. I don't want to say we were try hard in the Extinction game because I was playing Doomfist, but we're not going to be as locked in against Nightmare. I don't think. I think we're throwing in the towel before we let in the lobby. Maybe that's boring, but I think for our mentals it's better. I think we can have a little fun and make it a little more interesting than just watching a team get spawn camped, because realistically that's what it would be even if we tried. Yeah, hopefully you can make it fun in some way.
So basically, like, you're already in OWCS at this point. You might as well put on a show, right?
Yeah, might as well have the best hourly rate. You know?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I know that that's a big part of why so many teams love you guys, or I should say so many fans love you guys. The teams probably hate playing into that because they never know what to expect. But do you kind of like the reputation that you guys have for yourselves at this point, or does it? Because I'm sure in some way it kind of relieves you of pressure that normal teams would have.
Yeah. I think it is nice having like no expectations, both from others and from ourselves. The only thing that bothers me sometimes is like, I think people see our performances and think like, these guys like stink, but it's like, we're still a respectable team and we want to win. You know, against most teams, like we can't win.
You survived the promotion and relegation, so
yeah.
that alone, this speaks for something.
Oh, we didn't just survive it. We went into our game against like our first game in upper bracket, like not knowing what we were going to play, and we went from losing like a close game to Dreamland to like borderline running them over. And it's because like we learn really fast. Like we have a lot of just synergy just from playing together, and we like learn how to play the game really quickly together. So we don't necessarily need to practice all the time to play to that high level. I think that's how we did well in Masters League. It's because you play 2 matches a week anyway, so you stay fresh, you keep your practice, even if you don't have like dedicated practice time.
Right. Now, would you say that like even with the fact that like the Ducks scrim less than average, we'll say, compared to like the other OWCS teams, it definitely seems like you guys have maybe not a closer bond, but a much more personal bond, right? You guys have a lot more fun with each other. Do you kind of feel like that gives you an advantage in terms of like synergy or anything?
I think a bit, yeah. I think when everyone on our teams play together so much, you know, because we've been playing together for like relatively the same core, pretty much me, Redx, Philly, Reyzr, plus a hit scan DPS. I think almost 2 years now of pretty much the same team. So like we don't need a like dedicated comm structure or anything like that to have everything mesh well together. You know, we play together enough that it flows. And we all know how we like to play, and we all play the same way because we've been playing together for so long. I think that's a lot more difficult to achieve than most people would think.
Makes sense. So there you go. That's the Ducks' greatest strength, I guess. All right. The hive mind, exactly. All right. Well, that about wraps up all the questions I have for you here today. But before I let you go, do you have anything you want to say to the fans? Anything you want to shout out?
Ooh, I haven't thought about this. Shout out Philly for playing with us despite wanting to uninstall the game. He saw the patch and decided that he didn't want to play anymore. We convinced him to come back.
Really?
Yeah. So we had Philly uninstalling and reinstalling Mesh.
So he almost retired like a week before the matches started?
Yeah, and it would have been pretty disastrous. We would have had like Karmez on Flex for the whole season, but we convinced him to stick it out and play with us. And Philly's a good player. He's not going to struggle. Even without practice, he's going to perform. I mean, look at the fantasy points. He like doubled everyone else's last week.
Yeah.
We're a stat boost. But yeah, shout out Philly. Shout out our social media manager. I'm not going to tell you who.
Staying mysterious.
Mysterious DhillDucks social media manager, and
arguably the best social media in the league.
Yeah, I think we got that locked down. Yeah, look forward to winning a match later this stage.
Sounds good. I'm sure that we'll all be looking forward to seeing it as well. Well, Baz, thank you so much for joining me here today. It's been a pleasure talking with you and getting another inside look at what's going on at the Ducks.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. And with that wraps up our interview for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you follow Baz on social media, as well as the Ducks, like we just mentioned, best social media in the league. They make amazing posts, and then you can keep up with all their matches. So you can watch whatever they have in store for us next, and make sure you follow OWTV on all our socials so you can keep an eye on these interviews and keep finding out exactly what's going on with all your favorite players. But that is going to be everything for today. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time.